before coming. So.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Dr. Venerable, for inviting me for your guest. Actually, my first time in conference like this with many popular scholars like this. So it's my pleasure and my gratefulness to be here with you all. And it's just pop up in my mind before I got invitation from Dr. Venerable when I met him at the monastery, talk about meditation, okay? And then we practice together at the monastery, and we go through the story, my own stories that involve what he talking today about his conference. So I'm happy to share. Actually, it's my personal story, and it might be actually personally I really want to share much about personal story. It's kind of I'm a little shy about to sharing something about personal. But anyway, it is something maybe helpful for everyone to be realize that everything that we hear, and we learn from other people, it can be a reflection from yourself to learn with yourself and make life better. So I am like a researcher that I have with my own self, my life, to learn myself through my family. So let's come up with the topic today is my Buddhist faith and meditation, how in the process of letting go my mother. So obviously my mom just passed away last year in August. So it's my first time, my first moment of grief that is happening in my life. So I don't never realize it's going to be happen to me quick, because I always told myself that my mom has to live longer, be healthy. There's no sign of any illness at all until last year she had a cancer, lung cancer, and found out it's the 4th stage. So the doctor tried the best to help her, but as my duty as a Buddhist monk, I have learned a lot about Buddhism, and at least something that I have background in the Buddhism, that I learned about the characteristic of the existence of the world. So I just don't want anyone to feel like this is what I share with my religion or not, but because it seems like there's the truth or the facts of life that everyone faces. The Buddha, he found out, he discovered from his meditation, so he didn't learning anything from any teachers, but he learned by himself, and he found out from his very clear mind. And he found out that the world have 3 different marks of existence. So the first one is ultimately cease to exist. So this meaning that everyone have to be aging, wearing, and certain everything, including us, physical body, and all the physical things that we have seen. Number 2 is suffering. Suffering is not only our own self, it's also all kind of things, either physical or psychological realm can be not lasting deep satisfaction. So just like we are healthy, but eventually become sick, we okay in this morning, but become hungry. Let's become something unsatisfaction. So we cannot stay healthy and okay all the time. So become suffering. So it's a continuing change in life. And I have learned also birth and death is the process of these things, suffering and continuing. Like if we know from the scientific knowledge that every cell in our body has been born and die all the time, right? So that's million cells have been die and then reproduce again. So it's the suffering is something that continuously happens and change. So the last one is non-self, which means as life and everything continues changing, there's no fixed identity. So like nothing stable, so become change. Even though it's always money, it's my name, it's here, I'm here. But same time that when we change position, it's not the same, the reality that we have been before. So what I learned is I start to learn about meditation. Okay, from my past 20 years in monastery, and especially over here that I have teaching meditation and then learning for myself as well. And Another one that I have learned, the law of karma, is the basic law. It's the law of nature, that's cause and effects. So everything happen and have the consequences. Okay, so it's a good or bad karma. Karma is intended action. So whether we have intention of it and do it through different channels, from thinking, from speaking, and action. So we call karma in Buddhism. I think it's have been applied to other religions too. Okay. So what we do good, think good, speak good, positively, and action in a good way, and the good thing come back to us. And in contrast, for the bad thing, the same way. Bad karma is back is out. So it's my mom. So the first time that I met her, so she stay at home. Okay, first I just know that prayer and proud of mind brings happiness. It's a result of the good karma that I have learned from Buddhism. So the energy has been made from all kind of goodness. I start to bring to my family, starting my father and my mother, do chanting every day to bring her strength, her mental energy back. She got worried about her illness, and she still told me, always tell me that life's uncertain. I have to die for sure. But during this time, the worry that's come to her mind, and also our siblings, our family members as well. So I think the best way to do is bring more energy to family members, and especially myself, because I'm really concerned about myself. So all kinds of goodness that have been done day by day, every time that I can do, based on the Buddhist activities like alms offering, meditation, and food offering. So, even though the ordination is part of my big brother has been decided to be a monk, because it's a Buddhist tradition that once the son becomes 20 years old, has to be ordained for their parent to get the blessing, and they transfer marriage or transfer their purity from being a monk to their parent. So it's the way that I make decision for my big brother to do so. And then my mom got very happy because she waiting for a long time to see my big brother be a monk. So it's another step of purity that she has gained from these things. And also the tradition in my hometown, my city that they live, that they believe in spiritual support. From not really about Buddhism, it's about the ritual that bring life back. So they call the chanting, and you see the threads that's cover her head. This symbolize the lives have been strengthened, and then life be lived long from that chanting and offering. And also I have some like fish release, they have some fish to free the lives to get the life back. And important thing that's spiritual support from everyone's family. So it's very important, and every time we see, we have to talk only the positive story. For I think every patient, every loved one who are in sick condition, they need support. They need to hear something good, something positive and peaceful. So we try every way, the chanting around them, around her, and even the visitor come. We should practice meditation together. We should do chanting together to bring peace to my mom. Not just only bring the booklet and some fruits. She cannot eat it because she needs a spiritual support. Okay, it's the best thing we need it. So yeah, finally everything down to the end, the best we can do. So she passed away with happy mind. So I met the last person that I visit her at hospital, and the moment that she passed, she smiled, and then I blessed her and chant for her for a long time. Even though she passed away, I still believe it. Okay, If we can stay positive in negative situation, we win. So this is how we learn from life that everything is uncertain. Okay? So if we know the life is uncertain, like I said, everything impermanent. Okay? So everyone know that, and then I think we all have beloved ones, and if we know the truth of life, so we not really feel upset or sorry about what we have done past, but at least we have a positive mind to deal with the situation around us to be peaceful. So I think this is what I have learned from my personal research, and this is, I think, to happen everyone. If we have this kind of knowledge, especially the energy from doing good. Any religion, any faith, you need peace, that's right? It's in common goal of life, right? So I think this is really the way that I think meditation itself is play a very important role for everyone, because it's about the mental clarity, mental development to be positive and to see the world righteously. And what we have discussed today, I have learned that it originally from the root is the mind. So everyone's mind it becomes, if it's not negative one, so it's come out with what we think, what we speak, and we do it wrongly, and become a problem in society that we have to. But we're lucky that we have seen the problem that, and we get back to the bottom of the problem that from the ethic, right? Ethical, and then it combined with the knowledge of science and education. So very helpful to make a connection. But we not only we talk and discuss about it, we should make it happen by doing too. So what we have done here is like discussion, learn about the cases, but eventually we should do something to make it happen with what we expect to be. So I think by doing is how to purify the mind to be bright and clear and to be positive enough, and then we come up with a good idea, good solution, and right decision to make. And I'm not sure that I have time that you have time for me to try what I have learned and taught her through meditation. So maybe just about 10 minutes is okay, 5-10 minutes. So this will be part of the learning together. And instead of you listening to me, but you listening to yourself, your own mind, through the silent meditation. And I have some short introduction, short guidance for you. Whatever background meditation practice you have, it will be okay, easy. Just clear your mind from everything. You try to be relaxed your mind for a while. So just simple way, I like to close your eyes softly and gently. So at this time, we would like everyone to take a moment to find your own calm, relax your mind. Allow your mind to be free from all thoughts, all worries, and anything. Even though we have a lot of things in mind, a lot of stories, and background knowledge that we have learned, but at this time, we should learn how to pause the mind. Like we learn how to stop the car at the traffic light to see which direction we should go. Red light or straight. So meditation or pausing the mind in the same way. To learn how to be still and pause your mind, relax your mind, to gain the mindfulness, to gain the consciousness back to ourselves. It's also the way that we cultivate peace, cultivate the purity in our own mind. simple way to practice is just let go, relax, and free your mind from all worries. Be at the present, here and now. And relax your whole body. Relax entire body. Feel like you are sitting alone in the vast open space. You may use your own technique to bring the mind toward your own mind. At the middle of yourself, with peace and joy, happy and comfortable. So we may continue your practice. Stay the mind at the center of yourself, wherever you feel most comfortable. Free from all thoughts, relax. Some of you have some worrying thoughts, so just stay your mind at the center of yourself with some picture that you made, like a bright shining star, the moon or the sun, or something else that you feel most comfortable. To allow the mind to be rest as one point, with awareness inside yourself with one point, relaxingly, comfortably, as long as you could. Now please continue your meditation practice for a while. Properly become light and gentle, giving us a sense of freedom and spaciousness. You can say the mind there, be peace and joy, calm, stay at the center space, wherever you feel most comfortable, as long as you could. You may feel the peacefulness and calmness expand and shrinking from the center of yourself. You may feel the body become lighter and lighter, become blended with the air around us. Because the mind becomes rest, free from all thoughts and negativities. You just stay the feeling there, enjoy this feeling, enjoy with calmness, without any expectation. Let it be, let it free, by its own. Then we are going to share our love and kindness, which is arising from our own self. Love and kindness come from the gentle mind, peaceful mind, from the stillness. We just simply allow the happiness and feeling of peace to expand to all directions, covering your whole body and the room, expanding the feeling of peace, love and kindness to everyone in this building, and allow to expand farther and farther, covering the whole world. We just simply allow peace energy in form of love and kindness to reach all living beings around us, sharing peace and happiness with all living beings around the universe. To be in peace, to be happy. Especially our beloved ones who is living or passed on. To be in peace and happy. To be free from all suffering. To be free from all ill will. Be happy, be successful in life. Live long, healthy. If our beloved ones pass away, may peace energy protect them to rest in peace forever. We stay our peacefulness and happiness at the center space where we feel most comfortable, calm and gentle within. And then I would like everyone to make a wish for yourself in a positive way to allow peace, energy and purity of the mind to fulfill our wishes become true easily. You may make a wish for yourself for a while. Very softly, very gently. Whenever you are ready, slowly open your eyes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone want to share your experience or want to ask anything? No question at all?
Can I ask, did you go to visit the doctor or hospital, healthcare professionals with your mother? And how did they communicate to you because of the culture? Was there did you find anything interesting in the way that they communicated to you in a different manner?
During the treatment?
During the treatment?
Okay. Well, actually, at first, I personally understand what the circumstances that the doctor tried their best to heal, to cure my mother's cancer. And another circumstances like the doctor and their team. Sometimes in the hospital we know that many things going on. Many patients. There's some of ethical issue that have to be involved and consider between the relatives who come to visit my mom and the doctor and their team, the nurses. So sometimes it's conflict with how they can do the best. But we need something better than that. But with their process, their procedure, that it's okay for them to do like this, not further than that. So that is become the issue, the conflict, that how could we do it better but we don't know how to do it. So, in that gap, that's become the frustration in my family members that try to blame the doctor, nurses, different things. But for myself, I realize that it's something we can do the best is, and what we can do, we should do. Just calm the mind down and do the best way to do, instead of ask the same team of nurse, we ask another nurse that's better and comfortable with us. And it become work because we know some nurses that really have the ethical mind, I mean, really beautiful mind. They not work for their living, but they work for to help, like have a sense of humanity in it, and don't really care about the some procedure that the doctor said they have to do only this, but she do more than that, like take care of my mom that's but longer than the time that she had to switch the chip, right? So that is really is happening. And then I think before that we calm and we really understand and then be patient with that. That's the knowledge and the virtue in mind that we can gain from doing the chanting and meditation regularly during in the hospital. That is challenge for us too. So that's what happened. I know that you may just picture that maybe happened to you and some of your family members.
Now, this is one of the ethical questions they do ask for USMLE, United States Medical Exam License, and they do ask, for example, as a physician, your patient's practice is different than your practice, and let's say the patient is undergoing a surgery and she is asking for you to, can you open this music or the religious song or whatever the sayings, and so that I can feel better, and then it will not harm your surgery for sure, because you're going to do something physical, and then if it is going to help your patient, you should do that, for example.
Yes, I think it's our own choice to do so, because I have my that case for me too. So I really don't care much about that. So I really, it's my mom. The doctor, please give us the chance to. We have the MP3 player, have some chanting, and let her hear the sound of mantra or the chanting that's soothing her mind to be calm and peaceful. That we do it, and then that is some just only the critical cases they need to be like the critical room like ICU, something like that. So we just cannot do it. But for me, I just say out loud for her, chanting for her, and let her hear my sound. That the mantra that I didn't tell you during practice. There's some mantra or the word that you repeat in your mind to calm mind down. I use Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang. It's a word, it's the ancient word in Pali language to mean the purity of the mind, purity of the mind. It's Samma Arahang. So that helps. Instead of, okay, you don't allow me to have MP3, so I can use my voice instead. Okay, like the kind of fighting is our own right to do so. Find the best way to do that.
So they didn't want her to have an MP3 player. Is what the hospital said, she shouldn't have the MP3 player.
Yes, because they need to use space to do the treatment. So there is no space to put the MP3 down there or hanging and things.
So you would sit and then do your chanting.
Right.
You can do that in my hospital back in Turkey, because the room is huge and there is only one patient. If you want them help, like listen, for example, in my country, people used to make like some words from Quran, and they just push the button and then the patient is listening that, and the relatives think that it helps for them. And
there's no choice for my mom because she cannot move to other hospital. She prepared that. So there's no choice I have to do so, to stay at hospital with a local one and really tight space for patients. All of them is like a critical condition, and they have to stay close to the nurse and doctor. So that is the case that we cannot even sleep over near her. So, but at least we can see her in the office hour, I mean the hour they allow to.
Visitation hours.
Yes.
I know when I was the chaplain for a while in the hospital,
Okay.
the nurses more than anything were like teachers. The compassion that some of the nurses have, they really, it's like they carry the life of their patients so beautifully. Some of them are just so sincere.
Yeah.
And you remember the simplicity of goodness, the bioethics, that it's just the natural expression of goodness that with all of the, in the world, it becomes very complicated. But with the Buddhism and at the end of life care, the ethics is so simple. It's just, it goes to the heart.
So we can't expect that from when we were born. Every kid, everyone had to be some good model, good example to see and learn from it. I'm lucky that my family have been a good example, that my father, my mother, so that child my way to be in the spiritual life easily. No doubt that I cannot do anything bad about that. But how about other family else that they have the kid and some do bad and become criminal in future? That's because of the family unit that has to be not really concerned about this thing. So it's not really come from you born. It's something you have to learn from people around us, especially from the family, from parents. That's really important to start with. So if you are a parent of someone or your kid, so I think it's really important we have to show the good example for them and show the way, the ethical way for them to learn from it, and then they become like our product, to be there to lead other people, and then that's become better and better, and become growing the good person in community. Yeah.
Other questions or reflections? Yes, Maria?
In Japan, basically many people are, most of the Japanese are Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
But Japanese Buddhist is complicated. Basically, Japanese Shinto and Buddhist mixed together. So I'm a Christian, so I'm not a Buddhist. But most of people, even Buddhist, but something celebration, wedding in a Shinto way, and funeral in a Buddhist way. So divided. So in a mission hospital, Catholic father walking around inside the hospital, we are happy because it's a Catholic father and the same as or prayers. But the Buddhist priest walking around in the hospital is a taboo because it's a kind of sign of funeral. So how about you in your country or in your community?
I have a case for my experience when my mom was sick, really critical, and the last week before she passed away, I chant for her, and then it come up with other patient invite me to chant for them. So it become like another moment of peace, and all the patient like a waiting, like waiting for me. Please help me, please help me. Okay, please pray for me. So that's the refuge. People scared and be afraid because they don't know what's going to happen in the future. They scared their life will be end or the suffering. So they believe that with the Buddhism as part of the peaceful action to chanting and meditation, it help them to calm them down and forget something they worry about it, something they're afraid of. So, and actually being have faith in the mind, belief in the mind, it starts from the fear. If you have fear in your mind, you need something to hold it, to be safe, right? So it come out with the religion or faith, anything. So if we can practice meditation as a way that we can find our own refuge, our own safe place to hold without believing any religion. But because we don't know how to do that, so we can see example. For example, people like monk like me, so they say, oh, should be the person can help me with spiritual way. So please give me the energy, the blessing, so I can have something to hold in my mind, and then I don't scare with death. So that is, I think, maybe they don't know about that fact and don't realize that it's something really help them or not, and because the background of seeing the monks and the Buddhist monks praying, chanting at the funeral, so it's something like, is that good that it becomes the bad consequences in the future because the monk chant is the sign of being short life or not, maybe. So that some people think about that. But actually, from my experience, people to be good and will be recover fast. Okay.
I feel sorry for Japanese people I'm working in a university hospital. So if this friend someone enter the hospital, they try to change the posture ordinary suits. So people don't care. They cannot see he's a priest or not.
Cannot see.
They try and hide so that people don't get shocked or depressed. Yeah.
Well, it's depends on the situation and the culture that maybe have to be aware of that too. Because in different culture, maybe obviously if not doesn't work, if I go to the hospital but they don't accept me, I have to leave as well. We have to see the environment. If just people who invited me to go feel comfortable with that, so we do it privately, not really show up. Because we not sure people are gonna believe in different things. It's maybe the bad luck because the monk comes or not something. So it could be happen in the mind. So have to realize that which tradition they accept or not. So yeah.
I hope you can come to Japan to educate the Japanese Buddhist students.
Yes, in some country, the monk cannot allow to get into the country, like the Islam and some country. I have heard my friend has to be aware of that, but not really. As long as you don't do something like
conversion,
gather a lot of people around and chanting, do something like especially in Buddhism. So just like a normal person to some case. I don't know. Maybe not every month.
In a few countries, they're very sensitive about conversions, and so they don't want people coming as missionaries or conversions.
I saw, for example, in my hospital in Turkey, I saw a priest just dressed up as a priest that we're seeing in the movies, and there is no restrictions at all.
Like Buddhist priests?
Yes, you.
Can I go?
Of course, why not? For me, I never thought something like this. It's sort of a saying ridiculous question.
Okay, happy now.
But people will look at you. That's for sure.
Hello, back friend.
So I'd like to ask you a question. Maybe it's possibly a little bit difficult question, but everyone will die, as we've discussed before ourselves, but sometimes people die suddenly, and sometimes people die with a diagnosis of stage 4 cancer, like your dear mother or my mother, and so they have this longer period. So in this case you can give relief from chanting, but if somebody suddenly dies in an accident, the only chanting that can occur is at the funeral, or privately people can chant to make merit for the dead. So, of course we accept the fate however it comes, but how do you find a difference? The fact that you could chant with your mother is a comfort to you. And of course you would have accepted either way because we don't predict, as you said. But how do you feel this comparison between being able to chant with a person who's dying as part of a process to get them accepting the death, versus suddenly somebody passes away and you have to chant afterwards? How do you feel?
Okay, so actually this practice chanting, there can be benefit for both sides, for the person who passed away itself. So even though we couldn't see them because they already passed, but in Buddhist belief, their mind still there. Their mind still travel to the next world.
The soul or mind?
After we die, we can change the word, but I think actually the same thing becomes soul or spirit, whatever we call. But it's something like you cannot touch it, but it's just energy. It's like energy that we can move from being human
Physical
being to the next existence. So this is they benefit from chanting because they can hear, they can feel it. It's very quicker than human body. And another benefit is for relatives who's behind, who living. That is very important because they're still in the grief, very sad about that. So chanting helps them to soothe them down, calm, peaceful. That helps to lift up the mental clarity, mental strength to continue and understand. Oh, that is the difference when sudden death. That will helpful for the person who stay to heal and to relieve that sadness from chanting. And other kinds of goodness they want to do to they really feel like the person who passed away still needs support. They will believe that they should offer something to the monk and use the monk as a delivery man, delivery monk to send that thing, like transform and from the rigid thing, like physical thing, to the spiritual thing, and transfer to that person. So they really appreciate that. So once the monk come on chanting on the funeral ceremony, they really appreciate for the monk for being chanting and bless for them, and they feel happy, and they feel like this energy will transfer to that person. So I think it's good for both sides, but really helpful, really benefit for people who their beloved one passed away suddenly. So that is the difference. But if they can stay while living, like a long-term, process of being to the death, so really more energy from that because the patient, for example, my mom can absorb the energy very quicker than the soul or spirit.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's the answer I was looking for came at the end. I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Yes, I do want to support to the statement that after the body passed away and the spirit or the soul still around, and I want him to extend a little bit longer about the 7 days that the spirit still around. I think a lot of people does not know, does not realize it. So I think it is good to know about this matter.
Thank you. Yes,
That's
please.
a knowledge, that Buddhist knowledge that beyond the human existence, that I just sharing knowledge for you. So you don't need to believe me, but it's what the Buddha he discovered and many deep meditator they saw. It's the same thing. Like life after death is never end. So we continue like we move from this home to another home, and that spirit or the soul is still wander to place, and until the day 7, so they can find a place to stay permanently. Maybe people will say it's heaven or hell. Some religion believe that, or stay with the God, or some stay with some place that they like, they expect to go. So, but in Buddhism, that it depends on how much energy, how much goodness, positivity in their life they accumulated entire life, and become like like a business that we have to calculate each day what profit we have, how much is a red or is plus or minus of the profit, right? So something compared with life as well. If we accumulate only good things the whole life, so we have the positive energy, like we have a lot of money, for example, and we have no debts, and then after we die, we have more profit to like a fuel to drive us to the next place, that happy one. So 7 days, and that is basically 7 days. We cannot stay in the human realm. We have to go find place to stay. And after that, just some soul need to make a decision from the spiritual official, for example. I'm sorry that maybe that beyond that our knowledge, but it's what I have learned from Buddhism. The spiritual officials that become like tell them not where to go, like we ask them like whether to go to the heaven or the hell or the place that they guide that person to go. It's kind of to measure, calculate the energy for that person, because it becomes really confusing where to go. 7 days maybe not enough for them, energy for them to go somewhere else. You need to hear from the official to tell them. So that another length of time is 50 days. So it means
49 or 50?
Another altogether 50 days.
50.
Okay, right? 50 days. 7 and plus the 43, right? During 43 days, waiting for listening to the judgment first. Let's say that judgment.
Yeah.
And then you can go certain place. So that is waiting for that. But at another 50 days, 100 days, that the process of being born to the next place. As I said, life never ends after die. It becomes a new existence to stay. Even what type of heaven, what type of hell they could stay from based on the energy or the goodness they accumulated during human realm. So this is complicated for someone to think about, but don't worry about that. You just do the best, do the only good thing in their life. Also, we go to the happy place for sure. Or even it's doesn't exist, so it's still happy at the end of life, right? Happy life, smile while we die. This is benefit as well, right? Instead of be careless, oh I don't believe this, I don't do anything, I just stay nothing, like don't help anyone, something like that. So it kind of careless, be like heedless to do so. So that is, I think it's worth to aware of that, doing good things in every moment in this lifetime. So next lifetime will be good for you, even though you don't believe it exists or not. Right?
I think this is better than this kind of belief, and these concepts are much better for people to learn instead of not knowing anything and being greedy, because that's the other side of life.
Exactly.
Because you move very commercial, with a commercial economic thing in your mind, and try to take more and more from the universe, which is an imbalance to whole thing, you know? Because then you become bad examples for other people as well.
Yes.
So these concepts actually help us to go inwards, and become less greedy.
Exactly. Of course, because we tend to purify the mind, to be clear, that free from all greed. Actually, there are 3 kinds of disease in our mind. The first one, greed or desire. Number 2 is hatred or being angered. And the third one is doesn't know the truth of life. The truth is the truth, like nature. For example, you don't know where the rain came from. So this becomes the unknown in your mind. It's another disease in your mind. That we need the teacher, need someone to teach us to know it. But it's something deeper than that. It's what is life after death. We have to learn from meditation. Because it's like the meditation is like a telescope to fine-tune for the mind to see something beyond our brain to think. So like naked eye, you cannot see the virus, right? But we need the telescope. So telescope is like a meditation, and to fine-tune our mind to see things beyond our perception. So that is from the mind only. Use the mind to see something we cannot use any object, any scientific method to prove. So that's it need to be proved by oneself. I don't want anyone to believe me, okay? You just try and do it, and you can experience by your own.
Carla, I'd like to ask you about the theology. This comparison of the 7-day and 50-day period between Buddhism and Christianity, any similarities or these periods? Because you've been in both faith systems and studied theology a lot.
I think I am not highly educated in the Christian theological transcendent doctrine. I have more experience from some in the Buddhist, and then there's different schools of Buddhism, and then a lot in the putting together the science and spirituality, those two traditions, and there are a lot of very interesting theologians who've worked at that frontier. And I've met many children who recall past lives, or people who have transitioned, and then I have my own experiences both with my parents and with others who crossed over. So I think that, and in the Jewish tradition as well, which is very, it has very specific sort of lineage. I think most traditions have the period of transition, all of them, the period of mourning, or the period, even in one of the traditions, you don't mention the person's name for a certain period of time. It's not in either the Buddhist or the Christian tradition, but to allow the soul to go on and not be tied.
You found them both in
yeah, and then from my own personal experience, I felt very strongly there's like a door that opens when someone crosses over. And every individual, there are these things, 7 days, 49 days, 50 days, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years. And it depends also very much on the level of the evolution of the person's soul, on their connections to the family, on how are they basically emotional, are they developed very strongly mentally such that they continue at a different frequency, are they essentially going into this sort of dream world, which is essentially like a sleep. They say the Dewa Chen, or the heaven world, where the people who haven't so much developed the mind go into a sort of dream state, and they continue doing the things they think they did while they were in incarnation, and then those on the other side wake them up and say, you can stop cooking, you can stop doing your banking and things like that. And they wake up and realize their body is dead, and they go into various other dimensions or frequencies. So I'll just say with my father, who was a medical doctor, but he didn't believe in a life after. And when I was 16, I told him, that's when I started meditation. I said, Dad, look, life goes on, and when you die, I'll be there and I'll prove to you life goes on. So we shook hands on I remember, in the garage. And when he died, I was in India, and I was about to go to Ayurvedic medical school. And so I went through my initial emotional response when I got the telegram. And then I went into my room, and I thought I'd been meditating for like 20 years or something, and I should have, or 10 years, I should have some experience or all of this is nonsense. And so I thought in my mind, in the books they say, people die, they don't know they've died, they go into this sort of state. So I sat there and I said, okay, Dad, where are you? You know, what are you doing? And it was like a hologram, like a dust, like steam that comes out of a tea kettle in front of the door where I was at the medical college. And I had this impression of my dad, not solid, just like an impression. And he starts talking to me. He goes, oh, all right. I said, okay, so what are you doing? And he said, oh, your brother's going through this and that, and go see if he can do that, and this and this. And he's talking, you know, just like if we would have picked up the telephone. And my mind is going, okay, people die, they don't know they've died, they're not prepared for this sense of transition, certainly in our culture. And so they continue like they're just, that's how they are. And so I stopped him, I said, oh, all right, Dad, okay, did you die? You know, are you dead? And he goes, no, it's just that and suddenly he woke up. I'm going back to my textbooks. People suddenly wake up and they realize they're not in their bodies anymore and they go into another frequency. If their minds are very developed, there are these sort of, just like in physics, the people who are in medicine, the people who are in business, the people who are in the arts, they're magnetically pulled in physics to those groups of people. If we close our eyes, if we all go like this, we're in bioethics. So the conversation can go on without our bodies, you know, but the mind continues. And so I figured, okay, then suddenly he disappeared. I said, you know, are you dead? He suddenly got, oops, body had accident, Max no more, and he woke up. Something, I go, okay, he's gone, he disappeared. So I played the role of the one on the other side to wake him up or whatever. So he was gone. I go, okay. So I had to make arrangements to go back to America, and blah, blah, blah. My father died, I was 28. And I'm on the train, and I'm crying. I loved my father. And this light is looking at me from above with this really benevolent, smiling presence. It's my dad. He woke up. You know, it was like, okay, so he was awake on the other side. Some frequency that was still connected with our side, whatever you call this, frequencies. So I see him. Then I get back to the house, and all the people who are coming for condolence calls and all these things. And then my father's telling me jokes to tell them, which was very bizarre. He just said, it's not so bad, I don't have to take care of her car tires. Because he was always worried about my car tires. Okay, so we went through this sort of period for a while, and then I went off to New York to try and continue medical school. And I was very inspired with him because he wanted to do research in cancer, and he was tied to his practice and raising a family. So now he could do his cancer research on the other side. So I went to a meditation workshop, and I thought to myself, they said, go off in your corner and do something. So I said, Dad, where are you? I want to see you again. I had an impression of my father. I said, okay, 2 questions. I'm telling people you're doing medicine in the mental plane. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. What am I talking about? And number 2, we burned slightly balding Max. So I'm getting this hologram impression of you as that. What do you look like? Because you don't look like that. We burned that. So he goes, okay, this is what I look like. And it became just like chemicals in a chemistry book. He said, that's my mental DNA. When I leave the body, I'm magnetically drawn to those in that field. They get new ideas in the solution of discussions. Those ideas, the light of the universe comes through them. People in incarnation receive those impressions. They can know each other or not, and they'll share the same ideas across the world from the people in the higher frequencies. And so he said, that's what I'm doing with the medicine, and that's what I look like, and goodbye. And then about 2 years after he passed away, I didn't feel him so much anymore. And I got an insight and impression. He took birth again. And I was actually meditating at that point in sometime after that in the dock. And a little boy, this was about 5 years after that period, I had this little boy come to visit me sometimes, psychically, and I knew it was my dad. I had some impressions, and then things have progressed. And so at one point I said, should I find you, and then make a thing? And it's like, no, I just want to do my medicine. That was my dad, Then I've met other children in my travels. Once, and I'll just share one because it goes on. I once was at the border of India and of Nepal and Tibet, and I was in robes. And a little family said, you can put your tent here before you go on. And the little boy who was 5 years old started laughing his head off and doing this llama dance around my tent while his sister was telling him to stop it and behave. And his mother, we were communicating, with my little guidebook. She goes, please excuse me. He's the incarnation of the Lama from this area, and you're the first person he's seen in robes since this incarnation. Because of the Chinese names. So many, many things. And I have a very dear friend whose son they're Italian. The mother's German, the father's Italian. They live in Italy. The little boy is 4 years old. He told his mom and his dad he came from another world. Our bodies are made of fire there. They're not like this. And when there are volcanoes going on anywhere in the vicinity of Italy or sometimes elsewhere, where the 4-year-old boy starts to sing about the volcanoes and the fire, because he knows. It's not that they got it from the movie. So we know so much to say this is 7 days, these are normal things. Some people maybe won't incarnate again. They'll go to other worlds. Friends of mine, Sufi friends, I asked them something about that, and they just said, this particular group, they said, we don't have that hypothesis. When you finish here, you go somewhere else. So maybe that group goes somewhere else. Maybe some groups come in from other worlds and do different things. So I think it's very much like bioethics. They're different.
Thank you for sharing your reflections.
Very good story.
Yeah.
Like that.
There are many, many stories.
It's from real experience. It's really good.
Yeah, the children's story. When you were
One in the hospital, this is the last one.
Yeah.
One man passed away very suddenly. He had a heart attack. Family was just distraught. And so I was the chaplain, and I came and we left him in the chapel, and the family had come. 25 people from many places came, and I was watching. And the man's body is there, and all the families come. And he was really, I felt it, he was really frustrated. He was the head of his family, and there's the body doing nothing. He could do nothing, he couldn't welcome the people, he couldn't be the patriarch of the family. He was extremely frustrated. And I'm just there, like I felt like I was half in one world, half in the other world. And then the little children, 2 little boys, 5 and 4 like this, were running around near his head and laughing. And I just saw, it was like a flash, the soul from this man, some impulse, go with the little boy. And I thought to myself, how logical. So maybe this will be his path for the next life. It's his grandson. He will follow in that lineage because he needed to find some magnet. And that little boy's future, it was the magnet that moved his soul to the next step. I don't know.
Interesting.
Interesting. Thank you. Can I ask another question? Do you still speak to your mother? Or you think that after 50 days she's no longer? Can you speak to your mother anymore?
Almost every day.
Yeah.
Actually, as I know that her body is gone, right? But her spirit, her soul is still there. And wherever she is, but I can connect with her frequently through meditation. So lately in Thailand, I just finished the intensive meditation course for myself, so for 1 month. And the really deep meditation, I can connect with her, just can feel the brightness from her herself that really different from what I in the human form. So it's very similar to what you experience. So, but it's very vivid and very clear in my mind. So this is kind of to prove something that if we have really clear mind, really pure mind, so we can connect with the another energy that connect with another realm, another world. So this is exist. I told myself this exists, not really what we cannot wish it. So this is, if I practice more and more, it will be more clear and can even communicate with her directly, not just only see. And it's another example I want to share is my master. She's a nun. She passed away already, but the reason she practiced meditation is because she want to see her father who passed away, like you. And she didn't know how to see her dad because she really guilty because one time during he arrived and she got blame from her father that like a blame very bad blame. And then in Thai tradition, if the child had get blame from father or mother with bad words, so it's become real. So she is scared of that. But the time that she would like to ask for forgiveness from her father, he passed away already. So my master nun, she really want to see him and want to ask forgiveness from him. But how to do that? So she found out, met my great master who meditate very well and know how to go to the heaven, how to go to the hell through meditation. And then she practiced really hard meditation, really physically meditation, and find a way. Finally, she attained the very clear mind, and she can see her father in a hell because he had been drinking alcohol for whole life, rest of his life. So it becomes the sin or the bad energy that he collected in his mind, and then it become exist in the hell. And then she asked for forgiveness, and then let her father to meditate and observe the precept, or like to do good, and then his existence, his being become transparent, and then move to higher realm, higher place, to the heaven eventually. So that is remind me that what I have connected with my mom is really similar to my master nun does and did in the past. So it's really excited and that to feel that way. So it's my personal experience. It's real, okay? So you cannot see her, but you can feel her, connect with her. That's interesting.
Yes, I'm just looking because for quite a long time I had not spoken to my mother, but a few weeks ago, very clear. And so immediately when I woke up, in the middle of the night after speaking, I wrote it and sent a note to myself, because otherwise I'm not very good at remembering, and I wrote a little email about what I saw. But it's interesting. Thank you very much for sharing. It's a wonderful presentation and makes us reflect on many things. And thank you also from our Skype friends.
Okay,
thank you so much. Thank you.